Hello and welcome to the Christmas edition of music reviews. And basically, I was sick on Friday. I was just tired all day. I had no motivation to do anything. And when I went to bed, I immediately fell asleep, which is quite funny. So, yeah, it was a pretty rough day, and so that's why it's late. It's actually Saturday as I'm recording this. I should get it out by the end of the day, but again, busy day. I've also got stuff in my life which takes up most of my time, and I also kind of want time to myself just to chill, as much as I can get it. So, yeah, but let's start this thing. Starting off with some projects I missed entirely. Starting off with Black Market Cart with Today I Laid Down. The emergence of this guy is one of the most bittersweet stories of the year in music. Black Market Cart first sent his music to Brad Taste of Music, who enjoyed it, and it has surged in popularity since the person who made the EP was found to have taken his own life. Musically, this thing is beautiful though, and I'm glad at least that we got this. Good Morning Text sort of set up the vibe and sound to expect, and it was beautiful, especially at that crescendo towards the end. Trap Doors That Open had the most incredible instrumental that kind of reminds me of Swans a bit, and again, phenomenal. No Food had a very similar structure to Good Morning Texts, but was again beautiful. Alive Always, maybe a bit basic, but again, the end of the song, every single end to every single song is ridiculous. I might as well just say that now. The best track though is probably Short Sleeves, as it starts with that absolutely phenomenal, really distorted intro before transitioning into some really sort of early Black Country New Road-esque guitar riff, and it's fire. The closer to Today I Lay Down, again, a tad basic, but that ending is probably one of the most beautiful endings on the entire EP. So, yeah, this thing pretty much is almost perfect. And as much as all the songs have pretty similar structures, I didn't really see it as that much of an issue. So, yeah, absolutely phenomenal, 9.7 out of 10. And it's a shame that we'll never hear anything of them again. Moving on to Il Sweatshirt and The Alchemist with Void Dyer. I was going to listen to this eventually, wasn't I? I couldn't ignore it for any longer. I mean, come on. And overall, he does what he always does, and as always, it goes ridiculously hard. Songs such as The Caliphate are phenomenal and have the most incredible beats. The Alchemist kills it, as always. Feature-wise, they're all solid, but Mike on Sentry stole the show overall. He was phenomenal. What a year that guy's having. However, I do have gripes. Some beats come across as pretty bland, such as the one on Sirius Black and the one on Vince Scully, and every so often, Ill's lows did get annoying in tracks such as Mac Deuce. So overall, this did have flaws and the odd dud, but that aside is a phenomenal listen and one of the best rappers offered all year. 8.7 out of 10. Alright, time for some album re-reviews now, starting off with George Clanton with Ooh Rap I which is still ear candy. The synthy production is absolutely beautiful, and the vocals from George and any guest features there are really great too. Everything I Want still goes just as hard as it did on first listen, and the second half of For You I Will is still absolutely beautiful. Amongst this, the sampling on Punch It Down at the start is fire, and the entire song's fire. It's amazing, and yeah, it's just incredible instrumentally overall, from start to finish. Amazing. You Hold the Key and I Found It is stunning. That transition to the second period of the song is phenomenal. But this thing isn't completely flawless. Some of the intros sound exactly the same as one another, i.e. Ooh Rap I Are and Everything I Want are basically copies. And just in general, I've Been Young and FUML, Fucking On My Life, are pretty basic. Vapor King Subreel is amazing and all, but I think it's kind of meant to be a two-pack and it just feels like one song. So, yeah. Overall, though, conceptually, that one doesn't work. Aside from some minor gripes, this thing is stunning and arguably maybe one of the best vaporwave projects of all time. 9.4 out of 10. And finally, Copy the Machine with Copy the Machine presents Drumwork the Album, which was very up and down, as most record label albums are, and it's defo was weakest this year so far. He's still got one project dropping towards the end of the year. While City Grills is stunning, This Is War is terrible, and as much as Jay Skis, rap-wise, has incredible potential and has some incredible verses on it, he is so good, he really can't sing. Among this, Hove Numbers is 6 minutes when it should really be 3 at most, as it is so boring, and everything else is just super memorable. Amongst there are some great verses and songs such as Blue Glass of Fire, This thing comes and goes with no replay value being present. So overall, this thing does have its highlights, but also shows how bad Goose by the Way is. Every single one of his vocal performances were awful, and the lows that these artists can reach this time. A sloppy project, as all label projects are. 6.4 out of 10. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 projects dropped that I listened to this week. So let's just get into them, shall we? Starting off with Mika with Que ta tete fleuris de jour, which sucked hot ass. It was bland, corny, and is one of the worst pop albums of the year. Songs such as Jane Bacon and Sweet Banana were bland, basic, corny, and overall awful, especially in that latter category. Man, the latter song was awful. The chorus, ugh. However, there were some tolerable tracks. Bouger and Je sais que je t'aime both had tolerable choruses, and the latter had a name in which I can't pronounce. As much as they are still admit, there's no good song on this whole album. So yeah, really is that bad, corny, bland, and awful, basically. As I was saying, yeah, it was awful. One of the worst pop albums this year, and one of the worst albums I've heard all year, definitely in the bottom 20. 1.3 out of 10. Moving on to Ty Fontaine with 264. And yeah, I doubt I'll become a Ty Fontaine fan anytime soon, but this was better than You Haim. Anyway, this album had a far better and far less bland sound, and was overall far more enjoyable. Fashion and Fetty were kind of bangers, to be completely honest with you. And the Summers feature on Sandbox is a rare occurrence of Summers actually sounding decent on of Summers fitting into a sound that isn't his usual plug one, because usually he just sucks. In general, though, the album does still have a lot of issues. The more melodic it got, the worse it got. He can't do melodic trap, really, at all. It never turns out good. And songs such as Say Given Everything were bland, had awful vocals, and were just awful overall. And whilst this album isn't awful entirely, there's a lot to hate. 3.8 out of 10. Moving on to Wiz Khalifa with Decisions. Wiz is in his R&B bag here, and whilst it's tolerable, it's nothing more than that. Can you shut up? I'm trying to film a show here, and I've already been interrupted about 50 times. I really enjoyed some songs at the start, such as Cream Corn, but my favourite on the mixtape is definitely Freeze Turkey, as I love the beat. Probably his best song all year. However, he really can only write songs about smoking weed, and with the songs being as basic as they are musically, it gets really old and really boring. It's really ever bad though, as I often say, a helping hand, but it's painfully mid, pretty much every song from Cream Corn onwards. So yeah, this tape overall, pretty mid. It had some great songs at the start, but that aside, it's bland, basic, has some very poor bars, and is really not very good at all. 5.3 out of 10. Moving on to Sean Leon with In Loving Memory, which was super disappointing. The concept and sound of the album are actually really good, and hey, the way highlights. Oxygen is iconic due to the Ye feature, and it's not a highlight, but it exists. The Ye feature's pretty awful, but you know. At least he wasn't as bad as he was in Vultures. That's probably the worst Kanye verse of all time. I'm being bloody interrupted. Just leave me alone. Amongst this, The Glade was also fire. It was absolutely carried by Daniel Caesar, but it was still fire. Gravity was also phenomenal and beautiful, and it gave me high hopes at the start before they all got taken away by the rest of it. Main issue, the vocals. They're horrific. Sean Leon, can you leave me alone? Sean Leon can't sing. In the more trappy stuff on this album, it didn't really matter that much, but most of it was like this sort of R&B, like orchestral type of thing, and like it really ruined the songs. Among this, songs such as Dishonored and Closer Alive plain suck. So yeah, this had so much potential, but the vocals sucked and didn't match the production at all, so it's a pretty bad album, unfortunately. 5.8 out of 10. Moving on to Czarface with Artificial Intelligence, which could have been excellent, but just wasn't. The hope I had after the incredible beat of Zarkomedes' Death Ray was high, and in general, the first half was pretty great. Sure, Blast Off was basic, but that aside, I had few problems with it, aside from maybe the odd bar or something. Then the second half occurred, and after the Logic track Gatecrasher being as corny as it was, every song seemed to be cornier, and yeah, it was super corny. Sirens, Helicopter, both corny. Marvel that, Road Trip, corny too, and also just plain dog shit. It's horrible. So yeah, this thing was super corny, and aside from say live at Zondergy Hall, it was pretty mid in the second half. However, there's enough highlights, mostly the first half, to make it a solid project overall. 7.3 out of 10. Moving on to Jimmy with Shazam, who has never been afraid to say how he feels on his songs, and he still does here. However, in tracks such as Witch Doctor, it's just corny. The way he expresses it, yeah, it's just corny. That one also has another key flaw, the production. Whenever he does trap, it sounds the exact same, and it shows on this one. But usually, the production's outstanding. The sampling, the beats, especially on the amazing Be It Myself, are phenomenal. And for a self-produced album, it's pretty fucking incredible. Amongst this, he experiments with pop and rock in this album, which shows the versatility, and is pretty cool, as both tracks turned out well when this happened, even if it really affected cohesiveness, which wasn't really there at all, but hey, I can live without it. So yeah, this album's heavily flawed, but it has some amazing moments, and it's still a great project. Some of the production was ridiculous. I might go back and listen to Do What Makes You Happy from earlier in the year now. We'll see. 7.6 out of 10. Next up is AZ with Truth Be Told, which was so close to being great. The beat on Reintroduction was phenomenal, and songs such as The Goat and Go Time were phenomenal. However, in The Goat and many others, there's always one thing stopping it from reaching its full potential of being perfect, and that is the lyricism, because at times it was super corny, especially on, say, Don't Go Astray. That hook on that song was awful. Amongst this, there are a fair few blank cuts, such as Amazing How We Get It, and this is why just tries to... Can you shut up? This is why it tries to do too much, it just doesn't sound very good. So, yeah. Overall, it is great, but has too many corny lines and dud hooks and could have been better as far as it is. 7.7 out of 10. But at the top is definitely Call Me the Machine and Conductor Williams with Conductor Machine. Got a lot of enjoyment out of this one of his better projects this year. Blessings of the King has a sample that many don't really like, but I do. I really like it. The Blessings of the King. Following on was Believe Me, which had a great beat and all, and the Thriller sample was pretty cool, but the lyricism just straight up wasn't. Noya had a really good hook. I think it's one of the rare things that Goose By The Way have ever done that sounds good. I think it's Goose By The Way anyway. But the lyricism, again, sucks. And Higher, as fire as it was pretty basic. As was Flame, but that was fire air. I love the production on it and love the genius, absolutely spat. Church Fan, easily the best song. Great beat. And then J Skis and Commie just take it up a level with some of the most phenomenal verses. I love The Lord. It's just incredible. The beat's incredible. Yeah. Phenomenal song. Performance is great. Yeah. So, yeah. Overall, this birthed some phenomenal tracks and is a great project, even if at times it is a bit basic. And lyrically, it was sometimes not the best. And also, another thing, Conductor seems to just really overuse the producer tag like he's DJ Khaled, and that got really annoying, but yeah, still. It's raw, it's great, yeah. 8 out of 10. Really fun project. As for this week, though, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 projects to listen to. Starting off with, of course, Nicki Minaj with Pink Friday 2, which has some ridiculous samples apparently. It features J. Cole, Lil Wayne, Taco Bang, Drake, Lourdes, Lil Uzi Vert, Skilly Bang, Skeng, Future, and Tasha Cobbs Leonard. I assume the song with Drake was the one he said would be on For All the Dogs, but wasn't. So that's cool. But yeah, 22 songs, 1 hour, 10 minutes long. Dropped it on a birthday, but people don't really like it that much. I'm going to assume it to be a 3. Moneybagg Yo with We Connected, which is a collab album with Big 30 and Endless Entertainment, which I assume to be a sort of record label thing. Which, on the first song, is just D. Mueller, and same on the second. However, it's him featuring Big 30 on the third, and him featuring Moneybagg Yo on the fourth. It's just Big 30 on tracks 5, 6, and 7, and just Lonely Girl on track 8. Track 9, Lonely Girl and Big Homie G. Track 10, just Big Homie G. And, yeah. Track 11, Big Homie G, YTB Fat, Bezar Boy Black, and that's it. Big Homie G and Yo Gotti in the next track, followed by Mud Brother Bo on the next two, just on his own, and Bezel Boy Black on his own on the next two. Fredo Ruthless alone on the next two, same with Nick Hardbody, and then Lebo and Yellow Beats on the next track, and then Lebo and Big Herbie G and Yellow Beats on the next one. Fat Pocket on the next track, 2 tracks with OG D Berry, and Drac Baby takes the final 3. 28 songs, 1 hour 11 minutes long. 2. That project's going to be hell on earth. James Fauntleroy with The Warmest Winter Ever, which is a Christmas album, and I think it's full of original songs, which is cool and rare. It features Mater, and that's it. 25 songs, 1 hour 2 minutes long. From what I've heard, though, it's not great. 3. Damari Harris with Earth Tones, which features Damani Love, Joseph Lamasia, and Red Veil. 6 songs, 15 minutes long. 8. Why not? Osama Sun with Flex Music, which has a really cold album cover, by the way. 17 songs, 36 minutes long. 7. Night Lovell with I Hope You're Happy, which features Zilla Kami, Freddie Dredd, and that's it. 12 songs, 29 minutes long. 7. Libyanka with Walk Away, which features Black Bones and Molly, as well as Oxlade and Chloe. 6 songs, 18 minutes long. 6. Tate McRae with Think Later is next. 14 songs, 38 minutes long. 4. And finally, Hackle with Haunted Nation, which features Turnabout. 11 songs, 30 minutes long. 7. So yeah, I think we might have actually finally done it and got an episode under 20 minutes. So yeah, go us, I guess. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll feel less shit next week. Yeah, bye.